Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene. I still need to fiddle with that audio a little bit, especially with Andre's voice. He's a little low. He is a little low, so I need to fiddle with that. But welcome back, everybody, and welcome, Rook. Welcome, Tom, with my partners and cohorts, whatever. Partners in crime. That's what I was wanting to say. I didn't mean to say cohorts. But glad to have you back, Rook. How you been?
Doing good. I'm now out of my 20s, man. I'm now an old timer. I'm out of the 20. I'm not a youngster. I'm a level 2 youngster now.
You're old. You're old
level
as dirt.
3, however that works now. I'm now 30 years old.
30 years old.
Still got a lot of freaking catching up to do on movies, but making 30. My progress, of course.
Just to be 30 again. Just imagine that.
Yeah, going back 50 years.
I had to take a nap just to be on the show tonight.
I haven't had a chance to take a nap.
Like, oh God,
just wait. Yeah, so that means he's going to be ornery. So, yeah. You'll notice that life just regresses. It starts out one way and it ends the same way.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the time when people were wiping my ass and feeding me.
That's right. God damn it. You take 12 naps a day and people feed you.
Exactly.
And you can whine and get your fucking way and nobody bothers you.
I want my pudding.
For the shit again. Juice boxes.
I want to smack the nurse in her ass when she walks by.
Exactly. They just want you to be happy and not start any trouble. And
right.
Yeah.
Start making sound effects out loud again. Pew, pew,
you can. Nobody's going to stop you. They're like, oh, he's just thinking back to the war.
Yeah. He's just an old man. Let him be.
He's just thinking back to a video game he played once.
Yeah, nowadays that's what it'd be. Yeah. Oh, he's thinking back to Call of Duty. Oh, he was in the war. No. I'm talking about the video game.
Yeah. That's why he's spazzing out with his
video games. Oh yeah, they used to play those back in the early 20th
video game
century.
You play with your hands.
In my case, it'd be like
toy.
It's like a baby's toy. My kids would be like, "Remember the Alamo? He's too old to. He's not old enough to be at the Alamo. No, he's remember the John Wayne movie." So like,
yeah, that or he's talking about the puppet.
Yeah.
Remember Elmo?
Elmo wants to know how you're feeling today.
Feel like shit, Elmo.
Why don't you go stick a hand up your ass, Elmo?
My hemorrhoids hurt. How's yours?
Right, exactly. But
right.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Shout Factory while we're at it.
Yeah, fuck it. So, what's up, Random Brad? Glad to have you guys here. You here with us tonight? Go ahead, everybody. Hit the like, spread the word. We got a lot of people here so far. So get them in here. So, hi, Heather Preston. How are you? Dan Blackwood says Masters of the Universe bundle pre-ordered. Can't wait. Is that available to
yeah,
I need to get that. And
I don't think it's a new scan or anything, but it does actually have a few special features though.
Yeah, I still have the old. Yeah, I have the Blu-ray. I don't think there's nothing on that at all, is there? I haven't looked at it in a while, though.
I think there's just a commentary, and that's it.
That's it, yeah. What's up, Ace Hanlon? Hola to you. Corley and Rogue. Hi, how are you? Dimension Scott. Hey, everyone. Thought I'd stop by and say hello and watch later. Well, hello. Hope you enjoy the replay, Dimension. Cool Gamer. Hello, how are you? Glad to have you here. What's up, Stephen Luther? Glad to have you in the chat as always. Style section. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go. And we have Reverend Jim who says, the really great thing about television, if something important happens anywhere in the world, night or day, you can always change the channel. That's true. It's true. But don't change this channel. Stay right here because we got some great physical media for you guys. Ace Hanlon says he'll be 30 this year. So there you go, Rook. You have someone in company with you.
There you go.
What's up, Tyrell72? Live long and prosper, as always. And salute to you, Deleted Scenes. And good evening, Media Archive Mike. Hello, Duck Nation. Glad to have you here. And Live Style Rewind. Hello. I think you're new in the chat. Glad to have you here. Hope you enjoy the show. I got Corlin Rogue. What's up? And then Victor Fontaine. How are you? Glad to have you here tonight. Good group of people out in the chat tonight. Glad to have you guys here and everybody at home watching. Nothing real new other than some Arrow things. Tom, do you want to go over them or do you want me to bring them up? I can bring them up if you want.
Go for it.
Let me find the Arrow things here real quick because I know Basket Case on 4K, which I'm looking forward to that one.
Already pre-ordered.
Yes,
His
Frank
Arrow is awesome. Fuck Shout Factory.
Yeah, Arrow's good people. Good people. So here we go. Their upcoming releases. We have what's that? The son of a bitch. I can't see. My eyes. See, this is what I talk about getting old.
Hey, where's this thing on the screen there?
I wonder if I turn on a light, if that'll help me.
You need my telescope.
Turn on the light.
You need my handy-dandy telescope.
It's not going to help with the computer screen, you idiot.
I had to squint real quick to see what it is. It's the Scarface Mob is coming on Blu-ray limited edition from Arrow, and then we also have the 10 Star is coming from Arrow, and these are U.S. and 10 Star is U.S. and Canada. The Scarface Mob is U.S. and Canada, and I think the U.K. as well. And then we also have The Cold Day in the Park, a Robert Altman film, which is a UK title. It may be a US title too. I have to see that. I love how they do to put that beside it so they let you know if it's with the Blu-ray if it's a UK or US. I love that Arrow does that, so that way people don't get confused. I love that. Another win for Arrow, by the way. Then we also have Behind the Covenant Walls. It looks like a naughty movie about nuns coming from. I've never heard of that one. That looks like a UK title. And then, of course, Basket Case from Frank Henenlotter. I can't never say his name right, which is, I've been looking forward to that. That's going to be that's going to be USA, Canada, and the UK. Basket Case 4K. Great. I wonder if we'll get the other two, because I think, who gets the other two? I think MVD Group has the other, which I think
Something
Arrow
like
is
that.
part
It's
of the MVD Group as well.
Well, yeah, I know they were separate before. I think Synapse actually released them before.
Synapse did it? Yeah, I know
somebody like that.
Two.
Yeah, the 2 and 3 were owned by, or the license anyway, were from a different company. MVD had the old license.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It'd be nice. I mean, granted, these are fine, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's it for the Arrow titles. That's their April 2024 releases, by the way. Go ahead. What's that?
So what's in the basket?
Oh yeah, what's in the basket? What he does to that poor girl.
Well, that was a 4K scan back when MVD released. That was a hell of a great Blu-ray back then. So I mean,
right. So it's going to look great.
I mean, I'm not really actually in this case. I'm not ready for a huge leap. I'm sure it'll look good, but it's like we've already got a 4K scan in 2K on the Blu-ray. It looked amazing. So yeah, I'm not gonna like freak out if it's like, oh, it doesn't look night and day, or anything like that.
Of course, but I think it'll look good.
It's been long enough. It's due though. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. Do you want me to go ahead and?
Well, this is a bit of a history in the making here. This is from earlier today on the show. This is my last home media purchase from Best Buy.
Oh.
So a moment of silence for Best Buy.
Yep.
Fuck your Best Buy runner.
Fuck your Best Buy runner.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Specifically. As the show's ending, look what shows up here.
Oh, unboxing. Tommy, you need to blow up the picture here.
Let me get something to open it up with here. But yeah, this is my last Blu-ray purchase from Best Buy here, basically. Since they are done carrying Blu-rays now, they even took this off their website. You can't even order it there anymore. Here we go.
Donkey Cameo even.
Yeah, nice, big and fat.
Nice.
Pretty open for me, so I can't send it back if I wanted to. There you go. So yeah, hopefully next week. There you go. A few things to say about. So Mikey, write that off on the taxes.
Yeah. Crom approves.
That's right.
Yes, sir. That is awesome. Nice. I like that. Nice, big, and fat.
It is. It is nice and fat. It's like, you lift this, you fucking girly man. Yeah, Crom laughs at your arm strength. Yeah, I can't even lift up 3 Blu-rays, you fucking woman pussy man.
It's like I'm coming now, coming everywhere.
Crom laughs at you. No, I threw it in though for a few minutes. Just oh my god, does it look amazing?
I've heard
the Dolby Atmos mix. Holy shit, yeah. So I can't wait. But maybe we'll talk some more Arnold later. So keep that in mind.
Nice.
Yet another movie come out on 4K recently, but it was not Conan. But it is probably his most quoted film ever. And not only that, he probably has more lines in this movie than any other movie. So you have to think about it for a few minutes till we get to it.
I know
Yeah.
I know what it is. I can't
Do you?
I know what it is from the thing, and I was wanting to pick that up myself.
Okay, let's see how smarty pants you are.
Let's just say there's a line in that movie that would probably get you canceled today, specifically from a young child. If that's
Yes,
what I
you're
think it is.
correct. So shut up before you tell everybody. Shut up!
Shut up!
Shut up!
I'm done. I'm done.
Damn it, style section. Shut up!
What's up, Bright Bard? But with all that, I believe the Arrow.
Stop it.
Stop it. I believe the Arrow releases were the only new ones I think I saw. I don't think I saw anything else.
Well, the other thing is we're getting a foreign release. This is what struck me as funny. I don't know what company's putting out, but we're getting a foreign release of Killers of the Flower Moon on 4K.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
But it's a region locked 4K.
Interesting.
So it's one of those rare. Yeah. So I'm like, well, of course I don't have a region free 4K player.
Right.
You jerks. But I'm not gonna spend. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll just wait.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll eventually hit 4K Blu-rays. I'm still waiting on Irishman though. The rumor is eventually Criterion's going to put that out in 4K, but I think they have to wait like 5 years or something like that. I don't know.
Is it because of Netflix?
Yep.
Go figure.
That's why they could release the Blu-ray, but not the 4K or something like that. Yeah.
We got to stream it for as long as possible, and you're not making money off it while you're streaming it. So, anyways, but yeah, I believe that is it, boys and girls, for the upcoming releases. I'm mostly excited about Basket Case there, so definitely going to get that. And I think we mentioned last week oh my gosh, it just slipped my mind. Master of the Universe. I think we missed that, and Tank Girl, and I'm pretty sure we missed that Tank Girl and all that. Yeah. So with that being said, Rook, I know you only got 2 tonight, so do you want to go first, or do you want to wait a little bit?
Let's have Tom go first. He's got the bigger chunk amount.
Oh Lord!
All right, so let's see what you got, Tom. Show us something.
Well, fuck. Should I? I already spoiled my big one.
My name is Buck.
I like the fuck. All right. Well, since I started this last week, we'll continue now. I did watch Son of Kong finally, and I hadn't even opened up my Blu. See, I still even got a little bit of plastic on there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway. So I finally watched Son of Kong on Blu-ray. I've had the DVD forever since it first came out at the same time as Peter Jackson's Kong, and I mean, it's not the worst looking DVD. I even checked it out in comparison, and either they cleaned it up a little bit, or this is a scan from a different print, or the negative compared to this, though. I will say that. I mean, there's not a huge difference, but I noticed some scratches and other things that were not present on this one. And this one just felt like it had, obviously, just because it's 1080p for one. But I mean, like maybe they did go back to the negative for this one, or what they had anyway. And this is from a different like answer print or something like that. But either way, I can toss that now because I got this. There's nothing for special features on here but a trailer, I think, and it's just a re-release trailer. But I don't hate this movie. I thought it was a kind of a fun follow-up to the original King Kong. You actually got a couple of cast members come back, not Fay Ray, of course, but you get Robert Armstrong and Victor Wong, who plays the chef on the ship, and you get like the captain and everything back. And basically, Robert Armstrong's character is just trying to get the hell out of Dodge because he's getting sick of getting sued by everybody. It picks up like 3 months after the original King Kong.
Right.
And he ends up running into the guy that sold him the map to begin with, and tells him about the treasure on the island. He's like, "Oh, so you didn't find the treasure when you were there?" And he's like, "No, we didn't." So he heads back, and through some happenstance, they also, of course, wind up with a woman in tow. I'm not going to get into all the details, but yeah. So basically, once they get to the island, they realize that there's another baby Kong there, and it's and the other islanders are all pissed off at him for killing Kong, or for taking Kong in place and letting him free.
Yeah,
that's one of the other returning characters. You actually get the head of the
tribe.
Yeah. So no, yeah, it's fun. In fact, if it's weird because this movie was shot only a few months after the first movie because it was such a success, they rushed this into production.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it was shot a little bit later, like almost production wise, even though I know they spent a lot less on it. It feels like they spent a little bit more because it just looks better than the first film. I don't get it. But the other problem is though, you don't get to any real effects or fun stuff until the last literal 20 minutes of the movie or so. Like Baby Kong shows up and he does get one of the worst endings of one of these. Poor guy. I mean, he deserves better. And I think that's kind of why they did turn around and did Mighty Joe Young a few years later.
Yeah, to like make up for it.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's a classic still.
Yeah. I mean, I always liked it a little bit. You know, it's been many years but maybe like since they knew what they did in the first movie, it was easier for them to. That's why it looks better or something, and that they saved all the special effects towards near the end. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But yeah, it was fun. That's a fun movie. And here's a good question: what is the best King Kong film? Now, if you're going to like say like the best, like I would have to say maybe the first one is the best. But like as far as like my personal favorite, that's I think is the best is the '76 King Kong. That's like that's my favorite. So I would say, but as like far as the best, I don't know. I guess you'd have to give it up to maybe the first one because it is what spurned the '76 and the Peter Jackson Kong and then Kong Skull Island and all these other Kongs. So I think it just depends on your taste. Personally, I'd have to say the original King Kong and Kong with Jeff Bridges '76 and Kong Skull Island are probably within my top 3 King Kong films. So there you go. Tom, what about you? How would you go break it about? I hear a woman in the background. Does somebody hear? Is that you in your ears, Rook?
That's got to be Rook.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, my mom's talking on the phone in the living room way out there, and no,
I thought he was on a text line or something. No, like I grew up with the '76 one and didn't see the '33 Kong till Turner Classic and TNT started showing it in the late '80s. But I mean, of course, the '33 is the original. It's the classic. It's a seminal film. I mean, you can go back and listen to what I said about it last week to kind of get how I feel about it. But I love the '76 film. I love the Peter Jackson film for other reasons.
Yeah, I like the Peter Jackson film too.
But Kong Skull Island is really good too. In fact, I'd probably go like 33 Kong Skull Island, then a tie between Peter Jackson and the '76 Kong, and then probably King Kong Escapes is the order I'd put them in. And I don't consider King Kong. Well, then you got the Godzilla versus Kong movies and stuff like that. I suppose are okay, but like the original King Kong versus Godzilla, I'm not quite sure I'd consider that a quote unquote King Kong movie per se because it's set in the Godzilla franchise. But yeah,
I'll be honest here. I like King Kong Lives.
Oh yeah, King Kong Lives.
It's fun. I mean, hey, you get to see Sarah Connor's boobs again, and it's just stupid. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I don't mind it. Has that got the U.S. release yet, or is it still the umbrella release? I'm not sure. I don't remember because I was wanting to pick up that Blu-ray. But yeah, I agree with you. I would have to still say like the '76 one is my favorite, and I do like Kong Skull Island. My dad loves that movie, and he's seen it so many times. If it's on TV, he watches it. So I've seen that movie like a bajillion times.
Just the foreign release outside of a DVD yet, as far as I know, and they might have sold out. I don't know if you can still get that one or not.
I heard it was coming from somebody. The Blu-ray was coming. King Kong was from somebody here in America soon, but I don't remember who.
Probably Shit Factory.
It probably.
Brie Larson actually smiles in that film.
Yes, she does. And you're not wrong, Corley and Rogue. It's not quite a true adaptation of the original, but it feels like
it's an interpretation of it in a way. It's like it's kind of weird how to explain it.
It feels like it's Kong, but just leaving out the part where they bring him to the city.
Yeah, kind of. It's an updated version of it. Has a little bit of flavor of the '70s Kong to go with it, but it also fits in the MonsterVerse or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Still the best of the MonsterVerse as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it still has that distinction, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Not that the other ones are bad. It's just that's the most like solid story so far.
Yeah.
The other ones have little story like we've talked about a million times with the mom and the Godzilla King of Monsters and it's the people. Some of the people aspect. It's just like Kong has that one has the most solid story so far. But anyways, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good
Plus they don't have the technology any bit convoluted as they get into the later ones. At that point, they don't have spaceships that go to the center of the earth and all this other stuff.
No, but at least they use Monarch to set that up for later on.
Did you watch that with Kurt Russell? I was watching that.
Yeah, I did.
That was awesome. He's awesome.
I actually liked it.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it.
I was I was listening to that Kurt Russell interview with the GQ, and he's talking about Tombstone and how.
I didn't get to see that yet.
Oh man, I love what he said about Tombstone and Wyatt Earp. He was like somebody from Wyatt Earp, not Kevin Costner, he's a great guy, but somebody from Wyatt Earp was like we told him they were doing Tombstone or whatever, and he was like, yeah, we're going to definitely kill a lot of people, Wyatt Earp. It's going to be, and then Kurt Russell was like, I said, you know what, we're going to fucking go full steam on your ass. He said that, and he's just like, we're going to, like, it rubbed him the wrong way what they said about Wyatt Earp compared to Tombstone, and he said, we're just going to go like full frontal nudity and fuck you up. That's what he said. I was like, all right, Kurt Russell.
So way to do
Wyatt Earp sucks.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch that, but I haven't had a chance to yet.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
I saw that drop the other day.
Yeah, he's awesome. All right. Well, I guess we'll go on to another New York adventure with some puppetry and stuff.
Puppets Take Manhattan? Oh, never mind.
Puppets Take Manhattan. No, Joe's
is there really even... Is there puppetry in that one, or I thought that was a lot of CGI?
Some of the roaches are puppetry, and like the brawl and stuff on the ground and the food sort of puppetry when the roaches are talking. But yeah, for the most part, the roaches are CGI, and the CGI does hold up.
Maybe if I'd have got mine this week, Amazon, I'd be able to talk about it with you. Amazon,
yes, exactly. Amazon,
fucking reason, and I'm not going to for another week. Amazon.
This comes from the Warner Archive Collection. I don't know what is up with Amazon lately as well, but this comes from the Warner Archive Collection, and I gotta say the scan is pretty good. It's a pretty good scan. I was surprised at the way it looked. Some of the CGI roaches don't hold up.
It was a 4K scan.
It looks. I was going to say it looked pretty damn solid. I know this was released before on DVD through the Warner Archive, but I never had that DVD, so
I didn't either. Because like the original DVD that was released was a full screen, or one of the oldest DVDs released, and it looked horrible. So I never knew if that one in the archive was just a reprint of that or not. That's what I was afraid of.
But this one's really good. It looks good. That's why I didn't want to, when I was watching it, I was like, it looks. This movie and the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman or whatever, they had definitely 4K scans, because when you watch them, it looks like they're almost 4K, but Blu-ray. Some of the CGI is a little dated, but for the most part, it actually holds up pretty good. This movie, the only problem I really had with this is I would have liked the original Joe's Apartment short film that they showed on MTV. I would have loved that.
That's not on there, but that's probably owned by Paramount or something. Who knows?
Probably. All this has for special features are 3 Looney Tunes cartoons: The Lady in Red, From Here to Eternity, and Superior Duck. And then it has the trailer. That's the only special features. I mean, I get why
rare bit of special features for that.
Yeah. I mean, I get why these Looney Tunes.
Because I know they had a Joe's Apartment making of special on MTV.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
But that's the thing I wonder, because MTV is Paramount, so I don't know if there was what the deal was there with that.
Yeah. What I was looking into it is like this was the first MTV movie and the only MTV movie to be released by Warner Brothers, because at the time Geffen Pictures somehow owned the rights to this movie. And it was released through Warner.
Maybe he had the rights to the short film at the time, but that's weird that they didn't.
Yeah. So this is the only MTV movie ever released by Warner Brothers. Every other MTV movie has been released through Paramount. But this movie, if you've never seen this movie is pure 90s grunge rock and roll. Joe, played by Jerry O'Connell, is straight out of Iowa, shows up in New York. gets mugged 3 times as soon as it shows him, loses all his stuff, trying to find an apartment, and he ends up finding this rent-controlled apartment where he pretends to be the son of a woman who just died. It's this one building in the east side that's like the shittiest place you can find, and it's a rent controlled, so he takes it over, pretends to be your son, and it's infested with roaches, and the roaches can talk, and they have their own cable access channel and stuff, and it's full of that like old school MTV cutaways and transitions and jokes and rock and roll, and it's just insane. It's insane. This movie is, and it's hilarious. It's sort of a black comedy. So yeah, if you guys remember that old school MTV feeling, this will give you that old school MTV feeling. And the roaches are pretty funny. And I do believe, I remember correctly, I think Dave Chappelle does some of the voices of the roaches. Him and what's his name? Oh my God, what is his name? I can't remember his name. Shit, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Tim Blake Nelson, that's his name. Tim Blake Nelson. I believe they do a couple voices of the roaches in the movie, and it's just a fun movie. So if you've never seen it, I do recommend it. The scan looks great. A little light on the special features. I think it's still going for like $20. I think is what I paid. That is one thing like we talked about with the Warner Archive collection. These movies are fun. So what they're putting out, but they do need to bring them down just a little bit on the price range, just a little bit, because they don't add a whole lot of special features to a lot of them. So I would like $15 seems about right, but I'm fine with $20. I mean, as well. So, but yeah, there you guys have it. There's my first pick of the night: Sex, Blood, and Rock and Roll. Joe's Apartment. Great movie, great fun.
Well, what would you compare it to, like similar wise, tone wise, or something?
Tone wise,
it sounds like you're describing a Evil Dead-ish, but with less horror. Is that right? I don't have much reference for this.
That's actually not a bad comparison, because
there's no real horror in it.
There's no horror in it, but there are some of the similar.
It's basically this guy who moves into this apartment, and these roaches have already taken over this apartment, and they sing and dance and shit, and he's just got to deal with them. It's kind of what it is.
Okay,
they love him. Yeah, they love him because he's filthy. He never cleans himself. He never bathes. He never cleans up the apartment.
Nice symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, and he just wants them to leave him alone because he's falling in love with this girl who's like this. Her dad's a senator, and
then they have to build him a dress to appease her with, Cinderella style.
No, but similar. No, but similar. Actually, what happens?
I think they clean the apartment at one point, don't they?
No, actually, the apartment gets destroyed. And it just becomes like this giant, just nastiness.
I thought they did something though for her.
They turn it into a garden. They turn the whole thing into a garden.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they make it clean and garden.
It has literally been almost as many years as you've been on this earth, Brooke, since I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's probably since the 90s since I've seen it as well too.
It was one of the last VHS releases that was like, and like I said, the early DVD was junk. It was literally like just a VHS on a DVD. It was horrible. So I never bought it. And I had the tape for years, but then I just never got back, because then by that time I was like, well, I didn't upgrade it. And it kind of just got lost in the ether. So yeah, it's been about 20 plus some years since I've seen it, since DVD kind of took over basically. So at least 2000 or earlier than that, maybe even. So it came out, what, 98, 99, somewhere in there?
I think that it says 96 on the back here.
I was going to say even sooner than that, maybe.
Yeah. It's very 90s. It is very 90s. Very 90s. And I love it. I love it for that. And it's just, I probably have not seen it since probably 99, I want to say. Because I used to rent it all the time. It's like for you.
Probably about there since I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah. It's like you, for whatever reason, I never got the DVD, but I used to rent it all the time. And then it kind of just, I don't know, kind of just slipped away from me. And now that it's on Blu-ray, I'm really, really happy to have it on Blu-ray. But I really, really wish I would have the Joe's Apartment short film and maybe that making a feature. The Warner Brothers cartoons are awesome. They're fine. But I really would like some stuff with the movie. But other than that, the scan looks incredible. It does. It really, truly does look incredible. I was very happy. So I think it's worth it. But there you have it. There's my first pick of the night.
Yeah, Rook, they gotta work out the price, like you said.
Yeah. Rook, if you want to go first or whatever.
I'll go first, third. I'll go first, third. Sure.
I'm old and I'm tired. What can I say?
That's okay. It's all good.
My mind's slipping.
Yeah, well, for my birthday, I had some R&R, some rich and rare.
I was going to say rest and relaxation. What the hell?
Yeah,
well, I know, right? That's why I said it like that. But
started your 30s as a full-blown alcoholic. Jesus,
Canadian. Well, you know me, Tom. I only drink on my birthday, pretty much. But I don't get drunk like I used to in those days of the streaming while drunk. But maybe next year I'll bring that back. Who knows? But Canadian whiskey, honestly, it tastes like Fireball without the flavor, without the cinnamon flavor. It's just like straight whiskey, which was something. Next year I'll probably have the Crown Royal salted caramel. I try different alcohol every year, essentially.
How do you put them in your Blu-ray player?
Well, I don't know. I was just for the people in the chat for some fun stuff. No, I'm finishing off my I guess I'm calling it my kid movie binge of stuff with these two that I got here. So I'll probably try to check out Beverly Hills Cop. I don't know when. I have the whole trilogy now. I'll check that out sometime soon. I don't know when, but that'll be soon. I'll be up here soon. Anyway, Flintstones was a childhood favorite. Freaking loved it. Never saw the cartoon except for the Christmas episode of the Flintstones. Other than that, I've only seen the movie. This one, and I freaking. What is this
movie being in the ether all of a sudden lately? That one dude did a video about it. The guy who did the.
I thought it was just up there because I watched it and maybe it's sometimes the internet gets your fucking shit sometimes.
All of a sudden, it is the anniversary. I suppose didn't it come out in '94?
I don't know. I just randomly was like, "Hey, that's a movie I have," and I was going to check it out again.
How many tons and tons of toys and shit.
1994 is when it came out.
So. It has to be the anniversary because I've seen 3 or 4 videos about the fucking Flintstones movie in the last week, and I'm like,
"That's crazy."
What the hell is going on?
That's crazy. I had no idea.
I bought it last year out of the blue again. I was like, because I haven't watched it in a while. I thought I had the DVD that you had in your hand there, but at some point somebody must have took off with it because I don't have it, so I went and bought the Blu-ray. But
yeah, I guess so. But no, it's a childhood favorite. I was watching it again with the grain of salt of maybe as a kid I liked it more. No, if anything, I like it more for a lot of different reasons. It's got a good aesthetic to it. To me, I never watched the cartoon, but I know that it was every episode is just the cliches of let's go to Rock Vegas and have something on the rocks, and it's a pun movie essentially. It's a pun show, right? I assume that's what the cartoon is too. It's just puns of you're in the past. It's the Flintstones.
That movie right there is one of the best representation of a cartoon turned to a movie ever.
That's what I was thinking because just with what little I've seen of the cartoon,
the only thing they did wrong is they've got fucking that dude playing Betty.
Yeah, she's Betty. I mean, when you see the drawings of the characters, you don't envision Rosie O'Donnell as Betty.
In fact,
no,
rumor has it that Rick Moranis made a joke about her being more manly than he was when he took the role.
I believe it.
Yeah, thankfully she's not in it that much though to ruin much. She's just Barney.
The only reason she got that
barely in
fucking role, and I'll tell you why, is because I can't remember. Did she have her show yet? Greg, help me out here. I think she might have.
Was it? I think she was just had that show
started, and she used to do this thing where she would laugh and she would get going, and she would sound like Betty Rubble when she would laugh. So everybody's like, "Oh, they need to have her play Betty." It's like, just because she can fucking do that laugh, I could get you 20 goddamn girls who could do that goddamn laugh.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I can do that fucking laugh.
Wow, but yeah, again, thankfully she's barely in it. Rick Moranis, this is his most, from what I've seen of him, different role compared to the other roles that I've seen him in. He's usually just seems to be the nerd guy with everything I've seen him in, but with this, he's
funnily enough, he was
a normal guy. He's kind of a normal-ish guy. He's not.
He was the first one cast for that movie, believe it or not.
Okay, yeah. Well, this is a really good cast too.
This movie was supposed to happen years before that, with James Belushi as Fred, but something happened and they didn't make it. And then John Goodman literally was told by Steven Spielberg, "You're going to be in my Flintstones movie," and John Goodman's like, "Okay."
Well, that was great casting for it. I mean, he does a really good.
He did say later on he felt like he got railroaded into it, though.
Yeah,
and that's why he never came back for a sequel.
Right.
Yeah, I saw. I think at one time I did see there was like a prequel one or something.
Yeah, it's called
with it.
That's
Viva
why
Rock
they made
Face.
a prequel because John Goodman.
As a kid, I was
back,
so confused with that. I was because I saw this first and then I saw that movie and I was like, "What the hell is wrong with their faces? Why is it so lame? What is going on here?" There was like all the fun and like the
only good thing about the sequel is the Baldwin brother that's playing Barney was actually pretty inspired.
Yeah, he would do that. He did it pretty good. Him and Rick Moranis pretty much nailed Barney.
Yeah, Steven, I think it was, right?
Yeah,
I think
Stephen Baldwin. Yeah.
I assume rare where more than one person can nail a character.
Yeah, it's rare.
Well, and Steven has just got this way of, how do you put it? Like Barney Rubble, like Rick did okay. Actually, this is one time where I'll say Steven kind of got it better just because Barney is a character where in the Fruity Pebbles commercials, that's not Barney. Okay, that is basically Barney pretending to be Bugs Bunny. In the actual cartoon, sure, Barney does have some cracks once in a while at Fred's expense, but other times Barney is the kind of guy where you literally think Pong is going on in his head 24/7.
He's the caveman kind of.
Yeah, like it's just
more
like
than
literally just like boom, 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 just waiting for Fred to say or do something because like he literally. It's just basically like Fred's lapdog in the show for most part. Like,
yeah. But no, it's like, so did you guys watch the cartoon or no?
Yeah.
Fuck yes, man. That was a staple, dude. And not only that, we had the Flintstone kids and shit like that growing up. We had the Flintstone movies that were kind of filled out. Like those were new when we were kids. And that set's coming out here soon with like Jetsons meet the Flintstones.
I remember the Jetsons. Now I kind of want to watch the Jetsons movie. I haven't seen the Jetsons cartoon movie in a long time.
One fact, I don't know if you guys probably knew. I only know because I had the captions on and it was like saying it when Barney's in the snow cone machine, it's playing the Jetsons theme or something.
I'm sure I noticed it at the time.
Like, like, oh shit, okay, that's a cool kind of reference that isn't in your face, but people that know, they'll know. And it's like, God, this is so. I'm recognizing things that like I don't know what exactly the reference is, but like for the show. But I can guess that's a reference to the show, like for a lot of the stuff. But it's done well, I think, for it. I mean, I think the concept works really good as a solid movie. I haven't seen the cartoon, so I don't know. But it's just, pun central, still good. The aesthetic is awesome. I like the rocky stuff everywhere. It's chalky things. I don't know. Something about the aesthetics just, it's good to see that in a movie because, I don't know. It was all right. Even the dinosaurs they're fake, of course. But it's like the right kind of. It's one of those right. It's one of the right kinds of fake. It's like the right kind of fake. That's like, it does what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be Jurassic Park level with anything, but that's fine. That's not what we're here for.
It's funny because they actually fired their Stan Winston from the job. He actually started working on the movie, and they said yes, this is not working because all the dinosaurs that he was designing were looking too real.
Like they need to have the cartoon. They needed to have the cartoony look to them, right? Yeah.
So they brought in the Jim Henson crew instead, which did an amazing job on the show. I mean, they were pitch perfect, and they even got the guy who played the great Grand Kazoo or whatever doing the voice of the one Dick the Bird.
Mm-hmm. I was about to ask who does the voice for the Dick the Bird with it. Freaking awesome. The soundtrack or the music. It's the track or is it the soundtrack for the music? I keep on using them interchangeably. Yeah, it was freaking great. It's like some good little head turners there. I like some of that stuff they got there. But no, a good one, a good rewatch. One I'll probably watch again someday. Like I'm just like, wow, this one's actually all right. Really good.
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
It's good. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's good.
The worst thing in it though, I feel like, is the Halle Berry, like Sharon Stone. To me, I was just like, that's the easiest one out of all of them.
No, that's right.
Like a little more difficult of a name. I don't know.
They were actually going to have Sharon Stone.
No, it's right out of the fucking.
No, that would be even worse to me because it's just such a walk in the park. Like
that's like no, but like Tom said, that's right out of Flintstones. That's what they would do.
Everything else so much better, and then that's just so.
They had like Cynthia Rock and all that kind of stuff in the original show. And...
They did, yeah, that's right out of it. And Sharon Stone was supposed to play Sharon Stone, but she wouldn't do it, so they just cast Halle Berry instead.
That's the pun, Rook. Is they take anything and mix it with some kind of rock or what have you kind of thing for the name.
When I get it, I guess
are replacing all the appliances, right? And then it's just that's the gimmick. It's pretty much it, yeah.
Right. No, I figure like that's the entire gimmick, but I like the idea too with it being like,
it's also the honeymooners.
He helped him out getting like the plot isn't just stupid either, which is what I like about it too. It's like, they're trying to have a kid, they for some reason can't have one, so they're trying to adopt one. He loans him money, and it like from the very beginning.
That's straight out of the cartoon, actually.
The plot sets it up and unfolds the whole way through in such a like easy to follow way that's just like I just kind of like that. It's a good example of
what's funny is I think in the cartoon, I don't think they had anything to do with Fred giving him the money. They just adopted him. But like, that's straight out of the cartoon. They adopted him.
Yeah, but it's like having that be like the cause. He's like, I'll pay you back someday, somehow. And then he's like, okay, swatch the thing.
They did a pretty good job of, and that's the same thing as like
that's good.
With the Sharon Stone storyline and all that kind of stuff. All those things are like things that are like almost directly right out of an episode of the Flintstones. Right. Like, so most of the things that are in the movie they're not exactly verbatim, but they're, a version of it. And they do a really good job of intertwining these 2 or 3 storylines together that work. And, it was always a tip. I think there's at least once or twice. I think Fred had stories like that at work. And, you got the bowling gang there, which is great. And it's casted perfectly. And you've got the whole, like, production design element to the whole thing. And I mean, they even uniformed a McDonald's to look like a Rock.
Well, yeah, no, I saw that. Right? It's like, God, it makes you want there to be. Can we have the Rock McDonald's in my town or something? Like, just the aesthetic's good. They had a good choice. The music there, the way that they have things work, it was nice, fucking awesome. Yeah, and again, I think the premise works best for a movie. I don't know if I would want to like if you're to pitch me having the pun with rocks be a show compared to a movie. I'd probably go with the movie, but I haven't seen the show to judge it, but I like it all being wrapped in one like hour and a half movie.
You should check out the show. The show's worth it. It's really worth it. It lasted for a long time, and it is like we mentioned.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I mean, the only one I saw was the like Christmas special one.
Which is good.
Oh well, see, that's a lot of the stuff that later on. See, the show originally started out as it was the first primetime cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So like The Simpsons was back like in our time, basically. And
what year was the first Flintstone episode aired?
60.
Oh shit!
Probably around 64. I would say they probably did it for the anniversary. If I would take a guess, it was one of the earlier big successes for Hanna-Barbera outside of Saturday Morning. Yeah, so it wasn't even a Saturday morning cartoon to begin with. So, and it did make pretty good money. It did $130 million on a $40 to $50 million budget. And that was the other thing, though, was Universal spent almost that much on advertising. So I don't know how much they actually made at the end of the day. But
yeah.
Okay.
The toys did not sell as well as they were hoping, but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like one where you could do much with toys, honestly, but still. Like,
well, you can, but I think all the nostalgia and the reason it did well at the box office was all the adults.
Yeah.
I don't think it had much to do with the kids. Like, I mean, I was at that time, I was a teenager. Right, I was kind of on the cusp of adulthood-ish. But like, I mean, as far as the little kids, I don't know.
It worked like gold for me. It was things like when they put their heads in the alcohol and go, you do that at the swimming pool with your buddies. Like it was that kind of a fun thing. And
well,
there's a lot of things I didn't understand
hit
as
the
a kid,
show too, because there was a lot of parents that were pissed about the movie because. Really? Yeah, they didn't mind.
Actually, trying to think of what would have pissed them off. Honestly,
one of the scenes you just said. First of all, you got you got the boys swiggling beer, and then you've got the whole sex plot. The scandal. Yeah, so like, and we're like, okay, that was the show. They used to have little tongue-in-cheek things like that in the show all the fucking time.
Plus, it was based on the honeymooners.
But well, yeah, and that was the other thing too. Is it was also based on the honeymooners to begin with, but. No, like the original show, I think people forgot that the original show was a bit more tongue-in-cheek than what the Flintstones became. Because after a while, once it went into syndication and, they started doing the Flintstone movies and stuff like that and Flintstone kids, they really tamed down what the Flintstones were. I mean, well, not really. I mean, there wasn't a huge discrepancy, but I mean, it was really made more for kids when you get to the 80s, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the Halle Berry thing it's so minor. Like, it's so, I don't even know if kids would recognize what's going on. They're just like, I don't know, she's a pretty lady.
You got to remember, this is during the Tipper
like,
Gore age, okay? Like,
I'm just saying, because I was a kid and I was just like, all right, whatever, okay, let's go. And so it's like, if
she would freak out,
I'd be like,
and so would these family groups about everything, man.
Like, what kid has clutched their pearls and, oh God, Mommy, I can't sleep. I'm drinking Halle Berry on my desk. Oh no.
I'm dreaming
These are the same
idiot.
These are the same idiot groups that are like, oh, we shouldn't have the Ninja Turtles use weapons because kids might get ideas. Instead, let's have them use household items that they could use.
Yeah.
In everyday life.
What?
That's the truth. That's what happened.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's why if you watch part 2,
movie,
they only had the weapon, the sai and all that, and the nunchucks and all that, right? Like,
they don't ever use them, ever.
But instead of having them use ninja weapons that a child would have very little chance of getting their fucking hands on,
if not,
instead you have them using things that they could pick up around the house instead. So, like, I'm sure there was plenty of people who were, it's so stupid. It's like they don't think of this shit. It's like they think they're childproofing stuff. It's like, no, you're just making it worse, you idiot.
That's funny.
Because now instead of going for a knife, you're going to grab your yo-yo and start slinging it around and hitting people in the head with a yo-yo.
Exactly.
You're going to be worse.
Exactly.
Using them as nunchucks.
If a kid's actually in danger, you'd want them to go for the knife instead of the yo-yo to try to defend themselves, I would think. If they're
but at the same time, it's the same mentality with like the wrestling and some of the other shit. Is like, it's all it would take for wrestling is if a kid could understand that, what they're doing is like a ballet act. And you can get hurt if you don't know what you're doing, right? Like, that's all you kind of got to explain to a kid. They'll get it, or
I feel like the worst that a kid could do though is like, oh, I'm going to lift my friend up and slam him on the ground, and then realize that's harder than it looks, and that hurt.
Well, that's what a kid needs to understand. It's not that you can't do it; it's that if you don't know how to do it properly, right?
Yeah,
and a kid will take that in stride a little bit more than being told they can't do something.
Well, I was about to say, like, I mean, I lived through this shit with this, and it's like, I guess I never.
You go to be a police officer or a doctor. You got to have training. So
there wasn't as much.
Kids understand that.
Yeah, I guess I was sheltered in that way too, where I wasn't told that these were problems half the time with most of this stuff. Like I would never have guessed. Like, because I watched Power Rangers and they always have part of the cell is their weapons. Like, like Ninja Turtles. Why would they not have weapons? They always have their signature weapons as part of how you identify them.
When you were growing up and when we were growing up, we weren't so in tune to that stuff. I mean, it was there, but we didn't realize that's what they were doing with the movies till we got older. Because most of the time, our parents just let us go, and we did whatever we wanted, and it didn't matter anyways. And we all turned out pretty good. Now everybody's so micromanaged because of those parent groups from the '90s, started by Tipper Gore, that caused all that shit. That makes everybody like, oh, maybe mom started watching that. Well, maybe I need to watch my kid closer.
Yeah, and things like Sally, Jesse, Raphael, and Donahue, and all these other ones that are like, are your kids being, sucked in by the satanic panic and all that shit? And
there's maybe a few things that my mom was like wary of, but she then like let me watch Tremors and other stuff, and it's kind of like, I think he's all right. Like,
well, what's scary is a lot of this shit is real now, right? Like a lot of the shit that those groups were like all fucking like tinfoil hat about. Like, oh, you can hear the message in the music if you play it back. It's like, no, you can't. There's nothing there. It goes, do you hear anything in there? I sure as hell don't, unless you're reading into it. And that's what really shut a lot of that shit down was when, what's his face? D. Snyder was up there on the stand, and Al Gore's just like, well, what do you have to say for yourself about all these lyrics and salacious things in your song and blah 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 blah? And he's like, well, if your wife thinks they're salacious, then I think that says more about your fucking wife than they do about the song. And maybe you should worry more about that. And that kind of shut everything down at that point. But like for a while there, they were like trying to take everything down and take it away from us. And Mortal Kombat was gonna ruin children. And it's like, look at fucking GTA now. Like, Mortal Kombat's a walk in the park,
right?
Like I grew up with playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Again, that was a game. That was one of the times where my mom might have looked at it and was like, "Oh," he says,
it's a racing game or something.
He's cursing some stuff, and then sees like a car explode, and then was looking at it a bit. Oh, you can shoot some people, but then she was like, Yeah, but it looks so fake though. It's like, okay, just no, those are naughty words. Don't don't repeat them. Okay, do not repeat the words you hear from there, and don't describe this to your friends a whole bunch. That was like, because that whatever their parents might think, essentially. I was like, okay, cool. So
it's different time, man. Different time.
Well, and then now you actually got Disney trying to indoctrinate your kids, right? Like,
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I mean, like they've gone past the extreme. It used to be no, the gay folks are not coming for your kids. Chill the fuck out. In fact, most of them don't even like kids.
Why do they want you to fill up their time?
This is a whole new crop, right? Like these are the ones like, and I'm not even going to say exactly what Michelle Williams said, but the day I really lost respect is when she come out on the Oscar stage and said, and I ended something, in my life, let's say, that made it possible for me to be here today. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Right. Yeah.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Like, now you just became exactly what they said you guys were for years, and everybody fought against and said, no, they're not using it as birth control. It's like, no, you just literally said you were. You literally just said that on television in front of millions of people and got applauded for it.
Yeah. So I can win a
that's
gold
what's
statue.
wrong.
A gold statue. That means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But,
crazy. Sorry, I'm not trying to get all moralistic on people here. I'm just saying, like, there was a big panic about this shit back when we were kids, when it was like not even necessary. Like, well, that's what the funny thing is when you find out Alice Cooper's just some Jewish guy. Like,
he likes to play golf and he wears
golf. Yeah.
he's a menace, don't you see?
He's gonna corrupt the children. Then the same thing that's like fucking like Ozzy Osbourne. It's like Ozzy Osbourne can barely walk. Okay, like
he's a threat. He's a menace.
I do love it when people see Alice Cooper and he's got khakis on and like a polo sweater and his hair's all combed and it's like, that's not Alice Cooper. It's like, that's Alice Cooper, guys, and he's still fucking cool as like shit like that as well. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, he looks like one of the most normal, everyday old Jewish guys playing golf you've ever seen. Just with his hair tied back, basically. That's the only thing that gives him away.
He's still cool. But anyways, any final words on the Flintstones and we'll move on.
I enjoyed it.
No, it's worth a rewatch. The soundtrack's freaking awesome. Aesthetics great. Great casting. It makes me kind of want to check out the cartoon, oddly enough. And I'm glad to hear that it is one of the better adaptations. To me, I'm like, this seems like they're trying really hard to adapt it right, even though I haven't seen it. It seems like they're doing it as best they can, and I'd be curious to see what people go, they fucked it up. They did worse than Rian Johnson. I'd love to hear somebody try to say that, because this looks,
you'd be hard pressed to find somebody to say
good.
that about this one. And I think that's because the people that worked on it were actually fans of the original franchise. That's what helped, right?
Yeah.
And I know the one guy who directed it is like a huge Flintstone fan. That helped.
Yeah.
In fact, the director had like one at the time. He had like one of the world's biggest Flintstone collections. See, they actually used to do that shit in Hollywood. They're like, "Oh, you're a fan of this shit? Well, maybe you should direct this shit." Nowadays, it's like, "Oh, you're a fan of this shit? Well, sorry, you can't be
blacklist him.
You're out.
Blacklist him now.
Make sure he doesn't come back in the building." Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
We almost. That was a close one there.
We almost had somebody
who knew what they were doing in here.
Somebody with integrity. Come on, I can't.
Right?
It would have made us some money. Good thing we got rid of them.
Can't that.
All right. Tom, are you ready for your next one? What do you got for us?
Yeah. Oh, it's my turn again.
Yeah, your turn.
Well, I was on my monster cruise as usual, and Ray Harryhausen worked on the last film. I'm sure you have heard that name before.
I have.
That was oh no, he didn't work on the last one. That's right. He worked on the next film of the series, Mighty Joe Young, which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But he also worked on this film here, and this film also has another significance to it. Do you guys know what that is?
The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I don't think I've seen this one.
Not heard of that one.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this one.
This is actually one of the more popular, well-known Beast movies at the time, because this is known to be the movie that Godzilla was heavily based on.
Who put that one out? Universal?
Well, it's Warner Brothers, I think.
Warner Brothers.
but Harryhausen did the effects on it, and it was directed by Eugene Laurie. But notoriously, the rumor goes that Ray Harryhausen either never watched Godzilla or only watched Godzilla once and was so angry that Godzilla ripped this movie off. And it does. It's like almost story beats of Godzilla are exact. In fact, the creator of Godzilla didn't even hide the fact that this movie inspired a lot of what Godzilla is. And I mean, of course, you see it. It's weird because it starts off and you feel like you're watching The Thing. Because it's like in the wintertime and it's got that one dude who's in all these movies. What's his name? Kenneth Tobey, who's in The Thing and all these other movies. He's always in these movies, man. And what it is, though, they're doing some bomb testing or whatever, and they wake up this creature, and it's called a Rhedosaurus, and it's like a huge-ass dinosaur. So a couple people see it, of course, in wherever they're at. I think I can't remember if they're in North Pole or Alaska or wherever they're at. But anyway, where they break it up and get it out, and or no, it's over on the other side, not Alaska. Was it Newfoundland or Newfoundland or whatever the hell's on the other side there? Either way, whatever.
Yeah.
The whole point is they end up figuring out that that there's that it's showing up all along the coast going down. Eventually, once they realize that there is actually a monster, because they don't believe the first couple guys, and then one of the first guys who saw it, starts to work with these other scientists because they believe him, but they just got to figure out some proof or at least find another witness who can corroborate it, which they do finally. So then they, take it seriously, and it's from there. It's almost exactly like Godzilla. The only difference is this thing thinks this foghorn at the lighthouse is its mate, so it gets all pissed off and destroys a lighthouse. Hey, that's the only thing it's not really Godzilla-like at the end of the day, and the way it dies compared to Godzilla. Those are the only two major differences, really. Of course, it's not. Godzilla is actually a little bit more deathly serious in that respect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like this movie has just a little bit more slighter, fun tone to it. But yeah. And that one is not in that collection. And actually, there's a newer version with 8 movies in it. And funny you mentioned that, Victor, because, excuse me, maybe I'll get through all that next week.
Nice.
I've got all of Harryhausen's major films now.
That's awesome. I love those old movies. I was just thinking about my sci-fi from the Vault collection. That's got a bunch of those movies in it.
And actually, I guarantee you've seen shots from this movie and not realized it. Because
for one,
it's in Gremlins too.
Oh, well, yeah.
When George and Lenny are watching the cop get ate by that monster, that's from this. They look at each other and they laugh. Yeah, that's from this.
I probably have seen that movie. I just probably don't remember the name of it.
Well, you may not have seen the film, but you've seen shots of it from other movies, like that famous shot with the cop. Has been in a lot of movies.
Now I want to see it again. I love those old movies. I love those type of movies, man.
This one has a lot of monster in it, so I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So
I love monster.
Looks pretty good considering.
Nice.
Got a couple of documentaries on it. Warner Brothers did all right on this one.
Cool. Is that one of the archive collection ones or the
no, but it almost feels like one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because some of the
this came out quite a few years ago, actually, I think. No.
Probably same people that worked at the archive collection.
So I guess not that long ago. But I think it was before the archive had to kind of take things over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is back when they'd still released things like this all the time.
I love those movies. I've been trying to get a bunch of those together and like collect them here and there so that to get to watch them. And I just haven't got to watch them all yet. So I've been trying to collect a lot of those old like monster movies and stuff like that, so I can get to them myself.
Yeah, and I can tell Victor right offhand. Like I could tell you that the reason why that one and Guanji and Clash of the Titans are not in that box set is probably because they're Warner titles. That's why. Now, the thing that's weird about that box set, now I don't remember what's all in the 7-disc one, but I know it's in the 8-disc one. What's weird is they don't have, is it 20,000 miles to Earth or whatever? 20,000 million miles to Earth or whatever it is. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, like for some reason, that's the only one that's not in there, and it should be because it's a Sony Pictures, and Sony Pictures has all the rest of them. And literally, like I only watched one of the discs so far, but it's literally the Sony disc, but it's under a Via Vision label. So it's the same thing as the one that was released here in the US, but it's just a foreign release of the box set, but it has 8 titles instead of 7. But for some reason, that's the only Sony one they're missing, and I don't know why. 20 million miles to Earth. Thank you, Duck Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for some reason Sony's released it here in the US, but it's not in that box set and I don't understand why not. It makes absolutely no sense to me why it's not, because it's a Sony owned one. They've got the other Sony Pictures titles in there. I don't understand it. So yeah.
That's weird. I always say I say blame, but I don't really blame it because it's made me like movies. But the Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Saturday morning showcases for why I like monster movies growing up as a kid, because I found myself watching the Mystery Science Theater 3000, liking the movies more than liking the jokes and wanting to see the movies and get more of the monster movies. And then of course on Saturday they always played those old type of movies on the weekend. So that's why I like that. I mean, like if you don't grow up with that stuff, I can see why it gets hard for some people to want to watch those type of movies, and especially black and white movies and stuff and monster movies. But I always had that experience, and I always loved those movies. I just always have. It made me appreciate them more. But there you go. Go ahead.
Some of them have been colorized too, and they don't look half bad.
No, really?
But we'll get into that next week.
Was that the Ted Turner stuff?
No, actually, it's much newer than that. Like nowadays, the way they do it, you wouldn't even know it.
That's a cool. That'd be interesting to see, because I've not seen any of the new. Because like I seen you mention that before, and how a lot of us have complained about those Ted Turner colorized versions suck. We like the old black and white versions of them. We don't need them colorized. So I was wondering if today they found a better way to colorize them.
I have Night of the Living Dead and It's a Wonderful Life in color, and both of those still suffer from one problem, and one problem that really makes them stand out. For some reason, inside of the mouth and certain other parts still look like they're in black and white, and it's weird. It stands out.
Oh yeah.
Whatever they've done between then and now with this one that I watched the other night. Okay, I watched it. It came from beneath the whatever the hell. It's another one of the movies in that set. I can't remember the actual name of it. It's another one with wacky titles. It's the one with the big octopus in it. I watched the colorized version of it. You would not know it was not shot in Technicolor. Like it looks like Technicolor. Like I was like, this is weird. Like I'm not used to a colorized version looking this good. Like the technology has come far enough now that you would never know it was shot in black and white.
Interesting. I'd be curious to see that. Maybe you get some screenshots so you can show that.
And it helps that they stick with the kind of Technicolor-ish look. It helps, right? Like it helps you feel like you're in that era of the film watching it when it would.
Yeah, it does look like modern color.
Exactly. Like, and I think that's another part of the problem, maybe with like Night of the Living Dead, stuff like that. When they did them, they feel like just something's off about it. I can't quite place it besides the other things. So, but in this case now, they've gotten to this point where it's scary good. So yeah.
Yeah, like the color when they colored it, I always felt like it was too pastel. Like they were using pastel like coloring.
Yes, that's the other problem too. And this one didn't have that issue so much, I didn't think.
Okay.
I mean a little bit, but it's the pastel look that you get from Technicolor.
The Technicolor. Yeah, that's what I've felt like they were trying to mimic Technicolor, but it looked more like somebody took a crown and pastel colored it like that, and it didn't quite look right. But that'd be interesting to see screenshots if you get some of those when you bring it on next time. Okay, so I guess I'll move on to me. I don't know if you guys like this movie or not, but I don't know. I was looking for some. I didn't get a chance to watch too many good new things this week, but I have 30 Days of Night. So I don't know if anybody on here has seen it or likes it, but I don't think
I've seen clips.
The one with the vampire. It's like, no God. He's like,
no, there's no God here. Yeah,
get out of the fucking truck. Get in the fucking truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the movie. I think it's a fun movie. I could understand if nobody here likes it. Don't worry.
I thought it was a silly, funny movie. Like
I think it's a little more serious.
It tries to be really gory. I saw it at a friend's house and his mom was there, and I was laughing my ass off. I don't know.
I thought it was taken pretty serious. I thought it was a pretty well serious taken movie. It's produced. Where's Runner at when I need him? It's produced by Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert.
I'm not saying it's not a serious movie. I'm saying I was in the setting where it was more funny than like taking it in as serious.
Nah, I personally think it's a decent movie. I like it. I think it has a good amount of gore. I thought it was I dug the vampires in it.
Yeah.
I would understand why if nobody else. I could understand it, but I always thought it was pretty good. And it's just basically a story about this small town in Alaska for 30 days, which happens in Alaska. They get 30 days a night. Most people leave because they can't handle the insomnia, because you'll end up getting insomnia and stuff because you never know if it's morning or night.
Yeah, going backwards.
Right. And then so if just a few stay behind, and it just so happens that the few that stay behind are being invaded by a group of vampires who are going to stalk them for 30 days and feast on them. And Josh Hartnett, who is the sheriff of the town, and the survivors are there. It's sort of, they band together. It's sort of similar to like isolation and fear and paranoia that you get from The Thing. Not saying that it's like The Thing, but it's sort of similar to that theme of paranoia and isolation and being stalked by something that you can't get away from. But I thought it was fun. It's the vampires. Some of them are creepy, and I don't mind. What's his name? What is his name? Danny Houston, Angelica Houston's brother, playing the main vampire. So I don't mind it. I think it's good. I think it's a fun movie. I like it. Well, I can't say it's a fun movie because it gets a little depressing, but it's not bad.
Yeah. They pretty much screwed the whole time.
Yeah, it's got a pretty decent like surprise, like I not say like surprise ending, but it's not like a happy upbeat ending, but it is a happy but also sad ending at the same time. So it's I don't know, I just dig it. It's a nice little horror movie. I think it's a nice little horror movie, and it's based off a comic book, so a graphic novel, I should say, not the comic book. I think I actually have the X-Files meets 30 Days of Night graphic novel. I have to dig that out if I have it, because I think I have that.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't read that in years. But no, Josh Hartnett is good. This is where he was trying to be a little more of an adult actor, because he was known for all of his teen movies, Halloween, and like we mentioned last week, what's that movie? The Faculty, and some of the other movies he did. This was him a little more grown up. And it's a fun movie. I think it's a good one to watch, especially when it's cold outside, because it's so cold. Yes, and Ben Foster is really creepy in that. They kill him off a little too early in the movie because who his character is, but it is something you don't normally see. Vampires in winter, you don't normally see that.
Well, yeah, so it's like they have the control over. There's no, sun will come out and they'll have to be in quarantine. Nope. Yeah, they're out here this whole time, and y'all are super stranded. There ain't no like backup coming from anywhere nearby. It's a great setting for a horror type of thing. I think that's why The Thing was so awesome too. It's just like that. That's like the worst isolation. It's like cold in the middle of nowhere, dark. These creatures that thrive in that, and you're just fucked. Like you're meat bags that are trying to avoid getting eaten that whole time. That's about it.
And to be pretty honest, like at the end of the day, honestly, it's really not worth it, because there's only like 2 people that survive out of like 10 or 15. Pretty much.
Yeah,
it's like 10 they start like 10 or 15 people. Yeah. Well, the whole town leaves except for like 10 or 15 people, and pretty much by the end of it, there's only like maybe four live. So it's like, well, at least you saved these 4, but everybody else is fucked. So
yep.
But that's what I kind of like. I mean, because honestly, how would you go about stopping about 20 vampires that have no real weaknesses? So, and that are just rabid animals there to kill you and are as smart as you are. So it's good, pretty good, scary horror movie. And yeah, I do like Danny Houston as the head vampire, and it's a good movie. But there you guys have it. There you have it. That was my second pick of the night. But there you have it. I know, Rook, you only have one more. So Tom, do you want to go ahead and do another one, or do you want to show this?
I can. You can show this clip. This is just from the movie that I was talking about here.
Oh,
it came from beneath the sea, so you can see the.
Okay. You know what? That does look better.
Yeah, you can barely tell.
That does look better colorized.
Like here too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's get some shots of actual people so you can.
I don't know.
So they fixed the mouth problem. Whatever the fuck it was before, yeah.
As Captain,
that really does look like that was filmed in Technicolor.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, whatever it was that they did,
he's doing it.
It's working now. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that looks a lot better.
Like you wouldn't even know it was not shot.
How can you
in color.
torpedo it from here?
I don't want to show too much in.
Yeah. Now this one I have. I have this one on my sci-fi collection box that I have.
On which box set?
It's what's it called? Sci-fi from the Bolt. It's got like 4 or 5.
The only way you can get the color one, I think, is through Sony or that Via Vision.
Yeah, I don't have the color one.
Basically the Sony one, but yeah,
the black and white.
Because I have the Mill Creek release of that and 20 Million Miles from Earth, but I ordered 20 Million Miles from Earth, the Sony one. So
that's what I had. It's a Mill Creek
because it has special features and stuff too that the other one doesn't have. Yeah, the Mill Creek one has no special features. They do have like if they got a 5.1 mix because that one I just showed did. It's just stereo for some reason on the Mill Creek one. But it's still the stereo version of the 5.1 mix, but yeah.
Good old fashioned Mill Creek, you know. But yeah, that's cool. That does look legitimately like it was filmed in color. So I agree. I could kind of.
And they're not even that newer releases either. That's the weird thing, but yeah.
I wouldn't go back and do a lot of the black and white movies like that, but I could see maybe a few movies like that where you could do color. Where you could
a couple of these monster movies like that, though. I mean, I think Harryhausen probably get a kick out of seeing that.
Yeah. Plus the way the tentacle looked and the color and claymation likewise or whatever.
Yeah, that looked great.
Yeah, that looked cool. But okay,
I don't know if that was the original color or what, but they definitely picked the color Harryhausen would have picked, right?
Yeah, I mean it looked legit, like that's what you would color it. that's why I said that really took me by surprise. Honest to goodness.
Even though I've probably never seen a green octopus, he would be like, "Yeah, the octopus should be green."
Yeah, because I'm a sucker for. I love black and white movies, and I think they should stay black and white. But that looked good. That honestly looked good.
Okay, that's the last I'm going to say about that till next week because
okay,
there's other trivia involved in that. But I will say this: it's actually not an octopus. Most people don't realize that.
No, yes,
it's a sectopod because he knew half of it was going to be underwater through most of the movie, so he's like. Well, only need to give it 6 arms. He's like, nobody noticed. Nobody noticed. He's like, not once in all the 50 years that the movie's been out did anybody ever say, hey, that octopus only has 6 legs.
6 legs, man.
Got more than 3. It ain't worth counting it. You know, you got it. There's plenty.
Well, like he said, the other 2 are underwater or off the screen, so you don't see them anyway.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know.
Full aerial shot that proves it or not. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's get this going here. This last week we were supposed to count down our top 5 Jean Renault movies because George the Giant Slayer was going to be our guest on our top 5 countdown Sunday night show. But he had to cancel.
Oh.
But I still watched some movies that I hadn't seen in a while or seen at all. Excuse me. And my first one I watched is one that I had not seen since it first came out on video. And believe it or not, I don't even know if I realized that it was a remake until this time out when I did some cursory research on it. But it was actually a remake that was rewritten for American audiences by John Hughes, believe it or not. And it's called Just Visiting, and it stars Jean Renault, Christina Applegate. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's good. It's got some moments you're just kind of like...
You already sold me on that. All right, I'll check that out.
You're kind of like, what the fuck? But like, anyway, it also feels like a third of the movie's on the cutting room floor. It feels like they chopped this thing down to the bare minimum, and it's only like 88 minutes. It's
a short movie,
and it's a real simple kind of like weird time travel kind of story, however you want to put it. Like basically these guys he's this king from I can't remember which century, but like I think it's 12th century. Here it is, 12th century France. He's a count of and he gets a curse by a witch, or he's going to be cursed by a witch to die, and if he drinks this poison, but instead he actually goes on this he just goes on this trip out weird thing, and then like he accidentally kills his wife to be, and so he gets a wizard played by Malcolm McDowell, who's like the best part of the movie. Damn you, wizard. Anyway, So I'm really fucking up the explanation because I watched this like a week and a half ago.
You sound like me trying to explain a movie.
I know, right? I really fucked up the intro, but like the intro is like one of the worst parts. Like once it gets past like the first 20 minutes is where the movie starts to work, right? Once you get out, because it kind of starts off, you're like, okay, is this supposed to be like is this serious or is this kind of like a Monty Python thing? Which it is kind of like a Monty Python thing. You get that, okay. But then there's some moments that are just like too convenient for plot, but then other times it's not so bad, and it really plays into the idea that you got these guys from the 12th century that just show up now, right? And Christine Applegate plays like his great granddaughter, basically. So they at least avoid the whole them two falling in love subplot that normally happens in these kind of movies.
Right.
Spoilers, not to kind of get that out of the way.
Rolling it out for me, Jesus.
It's kind of gotten out of the way right away. But anyway, he basically has a wizard send him back, and the wizard fucks up and sends him forward instead of back because he wants to go back to before he accidentally killed his bride. But he ends up sending him to the 20th century or 21st century actually, because it's 2001 or whatever. And so it's like just at the turn of the century, and it's just kind of a goofy fish out of water story. Tara Reid kind of has a funny cameo as this hippy dippy fucking slutty girl next door.
I remember that. Yeah.
Who has a thing for like the romance part is reserved for the peasant played by Christian Clavier, and he's funny as shit too. Like because his whole thing is he's unworthy, so he's got to sleep on the floor and eat on the floor and wait for scraps to be tossed to him and smells like shit. And he even insists on, being treated like a peasant because that's his role in life, So like, even when people are like, shouldn't he just sit at the table? And he's like, no, I'm not worthy. Like shit like that.
I can't do it.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's pretty funny. And Jean Reno, of course, who normally doesn't play comedic roles. I mean, he's playing the straight guy in this.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with the movie is sometimes he's smarter than he is in other scenes. And that's why the first part is a little too much, because he's the one who figures out that they're in the modern day by just looking at a calendar, and I'm like, how the fuck would he know what a calendar is? Like,
next day that killed his
if the Mayans can do it, so can he.
Well, I mean, I think it would take him a little bit longer to figure out, because at first it makes sense because he's like, are we in heaven, or are we in hell, or whatever kind of thing, or we're in hell, or that there he goes, that damn wizard sent us to hell, or some shit like that. And stuff like that. So at first you kind of like, okay, so that's where they would probably see this, right? Is some other place because it's so different from what he's used to. And, of course he shows up in New York because part of his castle was literally removed from France and moved to New York or whatever it is. But yeah. And I guess it's based on a French movie, and when I was looking this up, everybody's like, don't see this movie, see the original French movies. In fact, this movie did so bad at the box office that it killed the third film or something like that.
Yeah. That's what.
So I have no idea. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. So Brad Barr says it's called Les Visiteurs. Also starring Jean Reno.
But I guess this one supposedly did so bad at the box office that it killed the third film from happening, because I guess they had two films already in the.
At least there was a better remake than of My Father the Hero.
It's gotta be, right? Like,
I still can't believe they got away with that movie in America.
I mean, really, I have no idea much about the original film. I mean, maybe I knew about it back when this first came out. I don't remember, unless they talked about it in the making of it. I doubt it, because then the internet wasn't as prominent and deep as it is now. Like now, just a cursory search and you find this shit out because everybody bitches about it.
Right.
But like the time, I mean, to me, I mean, obviously, I feel like if anything, John Hughes is the one who probably added some of the heart and humor to this that was probably lacking, because it like. I don't know what the original one was like, but I know there's a long history of French films being remade in America and people hate them. But it's like, they were good. I don't understand. But I guess maybe it could be because you don't know the original and you don't understand.
Yeah, we didn't know the original. Yeah. But I remember that movie. I remember renting that movie when it came out. I remember having a good laugh with it when I saw it. So, I mean, I'd never seen the original French. So I guess that's something we should do eventually one day. But I'm fine with that.
I guess so.
Yes. I mean, everybody says you should see the original French one. It's much more funnier.
It's so much better in French.
It's so much better.
That's the other thing is French are assholes.
Sadly.
Only an asshole like Jean Reno would think he's good enough to get with Christina Applegate. I mean, seriously.
Right.
I mean, he's like a fucking chode. I love the guy as an actor, but dude
That's
looks like a living frog. And I don't mean that in the derogatory term. I mean that in the literal term.
It is. And you know what? He's probably regarded at that time as like a sex symbol in France or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to remember, this was him doing comedy. It's probably like he was considered like an action star as far as I know. So
yeah,
keep that in mind anyway. I think that's all I have to say about that movie for now. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to revisit it. Yeah. And the scan from, I didn't even mention Kino Lorber. I mean, it's a decent enough scan. You get a little featurette that I think was on the DVD originally. I used to have this on DVD. I don't know what I did with it. I guess I got rid of it at some point. I don't know why. But yeah, no, it looks all right. I mean, the scan isn't anything to write home about, but
yeah,
Kino Lorber, and I think I got it for dirt cheap on a sale or something like that, I think. I don't remember what I paid for it, but yeah.
Kino, if you're watching, I love you. But yeah.
The fact that it's on Blu-ray is because Kino Lorber. Like, let's be real.
That's what I said. They have the best diverse catalog of movies. The best diverse
and
catalog.
I think Sony released this, didn't they? Maybe not. It says Gaumont. But I think Sony released the original DVD.
I may have.
Could be wrong. Maybe it was Touchstone. I don't remember now.
Yeah.
I know. I swore I still had it, but I guess I don't. Maybe I don't look deep enough. Or I'm missing a box of DVDs. That's the other thing. I still swear I'm missing a box of DVDs somewhere.
Dude, I've probably lost so many DVDs that I don't
or
even.
Or a box with some DVDs in it. I mean, but yeah.
Once you start like upgrading, like you know the problem. Once you start upgrading the Blu-rays and now the 4Ks, and you start wondering, well, I need to keep this DVD or get rid of that DVD, and you box them up, and then you're like, next thing you know,
well, and before I moved, I had all my DVDs and Blu-rays separated. But then I don't now. So like, but I'm like noticing, I'm like, I know I had this on DVD before. Right. And I still had the DVD. And I'm like, where's my DVD of it? Like, what the fuck? But then again, I have given away loads of movies in the past to people, either just given them to them or borrowed them out with the idea that they probably wouldn't come back. So yeah.
I've been there.
It could even be one that I lent out that I never got back. So yeah.
It's like once you start moving around the DVDs, you end up losing.
So that's what I would do. It'd be like, can I borrow some movies? Be like, yeah, but you can't borrow the Blu-rays. Like I've got a bunch of Blu-rays that have the DVD missing out of them for that very reason. Because I knew I was never getting them back.
That's what I would do. I would do it with one of my younger brothers. I'd be like, yeah, you can borrow it. Here's the DVD. And I'd keep the Blu-ray in the case. And I'd be like, oh man, I lost the DVD. That's okay.
They'll be like, well, what about the cover? Like, no, it's like a rental store, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Here's a clear plastic case.
Yep.
That way, if you steal it, you look like some fucking like ghetto motherfucker because you stole my old DVD.
Yeah. Hello, Basco Scenario. I think that's a new name in the chat as well. Hello to you.
I got a friend the other day. This is funny, actually. This is a true story too. Again, I handed him it the other day, and this is weird because it was the opposite of what I normally do. I lent him the 4K of it way back in the day because he was one of the first people I ever knew that had a 4K player. He got an Xbox real early on. And he asked me if I had any 4K movies that he could borrow. And he did borrow a couple. But one he gave back, he never gave back it. And I've been bugging him for it forever. I've been like, when are you going to give me back my it 4K? Now that I got 4K player, I'd like to have it in 4K.
I want it back.
Yeah, I got part 2 in 4K. I don't have part 1 in 4K no more. He's like, I don't have it. I swear I don't have it. So like after all these years, one day he shows up again one day for the first time in a while. And I just hand him the case and he opens it up. He's like, well, there's no movie in here. I'm like, yeah, you got it somewheres. Like, that's yours now. I went and bought it again because I'm like, I got sick and tired of asking you for it. And it was on sale for like $9. So I was like, fuck it. I just bought it again. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, find the 4K, I guess, motherfucker. Because otherwise,
find it now.
It's yours now. I mean, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. I've not seen Just Visiting in years, but I do remember seeing it. And I do think I had that DVD at one point in time, but I have no idea where it would have been. All right, Rook, I know you still got one more left, so I'll go to me again, and then we'll go back to you.
Okie dokie.
Okay. So I got this recently. I always hold it the wrong way.
Hello, ladies.
Scream Queen
Hey.
Hot Tub Party from Jim
You need to up
Wynorski and
your
Fred
resolution
Olen.
there, Greg.
Yeah, I
We
know.
can't see it.
See if I can. My resolution is on 720, but my internet, I don't know. Did it get
Zoom
any
in
better?
and enhance.
Did it get any better?
Not really, but a little bit.
Good enough. Good
Apologies.
Enough. Yeah, we're like in yeah.
You might as well take a picture of it and put it on an overlay.
Apologies. I have it set on 720, but it's
we
not
could go
always-
get some free porn, but we want to see this desperately. Damn it!
Yep. You convinced me to watch this. FanZcene.
It comes from Retro Media. Scream Queen Hot Tub. It's just released on Blu-ray. I think for the first time. I can't remember his first time, but it's Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski. They always got the hottest chicks. And this is Kelly Maroney, if you know who Kelly Maroney is from Night of the Comet and Zero Boys, and what's that other movie she did? She's in, but like a little movie. This is her first nude scene she ever did. So, but basically, it's these Scream Queens: Michelle Bauer, Brink Stevens, which are well-known ones, Kelly Maroney, like I said, and Monique Gabrielle. They are called to this mysterious house, thinking they're going to do some actor exercises with this the guy, and the guy never shows up. And so the most logical thing they decide to do, yes, chopping mall deleted scenes. Yes, chopping mall. I love chopping mall. But so what the guy never shows up to give them the acting lessons or whatever they were supposed to do. So they decide to just get in the hot tub, and so they get in the hot tub and get naked. And they like reminisce about movies, and Brink Steven teaches you how to take a nude shower scene in a movie. Michelle Bauer teaches you how to go topless with a chainsaw. Kelly Maroney works out naked. That's and then it shows clips from other movies where they all get naked. So that's the stint of this movie. It looks good. It's you know, what can I say? What more can I say about it? And it does come with a bonus feature as a special feature called 1 Million Hills BC, about starring Michelle Bauer, about a cave woman who wakes up and learns to become a stripper. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
What more do you need in a movie?
What more do you need? What more do you need? It's a fun watch. I mean, trust me, this movie is not something where you're going to go, well, I'm getting some good acting and a plot here. The plot's in the hot tub. That's what you're watching. That's the only reason you're watching it. I love Michelle Bauer's technique for taking a shower and how she said, "Oh, and make sure you turn around and bend your leg this way so you don't reveal any naughty bits." So I love that part. That was great. But there you guys have it. It's available now from Retro Media, $16.99. So $16.99 is how much it costs. So. What's up, India Phantom? Yes, but there you guys, outstanding. How I haven't seen deleted scenes. It's right up your alley. You need to see it, Steven. Upstanding. But yeah, it's a fun. If you're just looking to watch a movie where like these Scream Queen actresses from other horror movies have decided just to do a little short movie where they just basically get topless for the whole movie, there you go. I mean, they know who they're playing to. There's one scene as soon as they get to the house and that nobody's there, they decide to call up pizza, and the pizza delivery guy also sells lingerie, and it says, hey, "What do you want with your pizza? Yeah, he's like, "What do you want with your pizza? Do you want skimpy, extra skimpy, or revealing?" And they're just like, "Let's just stick with skimpy." And so they deliver them skimpy lingerie outfits along with their pizza or whatever. So there you go. Yeah, so, I mean, and if you've ever seen a Fred Olen Ray or a Jim Wynorski movie, that's what you're getting into, because those guys, that's what they're known for. They specialize in TNA horror movies. So, and there's nothing horrific about this movie other than the clips from other horror movies that they show, which is the only clips from other horror movies they show is the chicks get naked in those movies. So. It's a clip show and a hot tub scene. So there you go. That's I just was wanting to pick that up because that's its first time on Blu-ray, I believe, since forever. I think it was previously released on DVD, and that's way out of print. So if you want to get that before it goes bye-bye again, I'd go ahead and go get it from Retro Media. Makeflix.com is where you get it, or Amazon. I think Amazon has it too. So yeah, there you go. I mean, it's no Just Visiting, it's no monster movie, but what can I say? That's type of movies I enjoy. It's got boobs, lots of it.
Booty boobs.
It's a shame my camera doesn't ever work.
Doesn't do it justice. No.
Yeah. I don't even know why I bother setting it for 720 if my internet's just going to, or with the camera or whatever it is, just pixelates on me.
I know what you mean. It's ridiculous.
I know. I haven't seen this one. What
doing the best you can.
Doing the best you can with what I got. I mean,
oh yeah.
Just remember. There you guys.
Yes.
What can I say?
Yep. Looks good.
All right, Rook, what do you got for us for your final pick since you only brought 2?
All right. Well, I know that I think Tom mentioned this when he was doing the Addams Family, and it just made me want to check it out again. And I was trying to buy it for a little while, but on Amazon, it was like $50, and I was like, "The fuck." And then anywhere I was looking, they weren't selling it. They weren't even streaming it anywhere. I was like, I just kind of want to watch this. Like, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. And then I was just watching on Amazon, and it finally dipped to like $25. And so hopped on Beverly Hillbillies. And honestly, I loved it a lot as a kid. And I like it now, but it's not as funny to me as an adult. It's like a lot of the jokes, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's there. They used to play and kick the can. The like rich guys, the rich banker's son. I thought it was funny as a kid. As an adult, I'm just kind of like, it's kind of cringe a little, some of the stuff. But Rob Schneider is a banker. There's that at least, there's aspects to this that I like as a movie, but I don't know. I liked it a lot more as a kid. It's fine.
Didn't age on you? What? Didn't age well for you?
Not really. No. I mean, it's fine, but it's not one that I'd want to put on anytime soon again. I'm like, Flintstones was like, oh wow, this is like still actually pretty good to me, but I don't know. Tom, I think you still like it a lot, or not? I forget.
I haven't watched it in years, but from memory, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
That's how I kind of felt. I was like, I remember
the original story, so I mean,
I remember liking it a lot, but then I watched it again, and a lot of the jokes are just not all that funny to me. Like, I could try a little harder to be funny, but I don't know. I never watched the original material of the Beverly Hillbillies show, so I don't know. They probably adapted well. It's fine. I don't know much to say about it. It's just, it's all right on rewatch, but I don't really want to watch it again. Yeah. Don't spit in a moving vehicle. Wait till it stops. And it's like, yeah, that's funny. I recognize that as funny, but I'm not like laughing at most of these jokes. I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty simple jokes.
Who made this movie? What's it? Warner Brothers or who is it? Sony, Columbia, Fox?
I think Fox.
Oh, that's probably the only physical release we'll ever get.
Right, 20th Century Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, now that Disney owns that, that's probably the only release we'll ever get. That's probably what was $50 and before it's out of print. So
yeah, I guess so. I mean, so it's a nostalgia movie, but yeah, again, it's not one that I'll back up on often now after watching it again. Don't have much to say about it. It's just it's there. He's trying to they say lines and I get the jokes.
I haven't seen it in years, but I remember liking it too myself. So
yeah, I don't know.
I thought
it was lesser to me this time. There's a lot more jokes that are just kind of randomly there, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay.
Well, you are 30 years old now, so
like Jethro's supposed to be a complete idiot, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's the joke. And then it's like, oh, this game is so weird. We're supposed to throw the bowling ball, and I roll down the thing.
A little too much about.
I don't know. It's just like it didn't hit me in the right comedy beats, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're taking it a bit too seriously.
I don't know. I don't think I'm taking it seriously at all. I'm just saying. I just don't think it was very funny.
You're 30 years old now, man.
Yep.
You sound like a critic when that movie came out. Marsh, shut the hell up.
Dan Marsh now.
Oh, I enjoyed it, but okay, I hear you. I hear
It
you.
doesn't seem like there's much comment. That's what I'm saying. I don't have much to say about it. There's not much commentary to have on it. It's just it either works for you or it doesn't, as far as I can tell.
No, I gotta watch it again just to prove you wrong.
Well, if you do, we can hash it out. That's fine. Go throw down, buddy. I guess there was one funny part. Right. I guess there's one funny part that I didn't think was funny as a kid that I do think is funny now. Where and it's kind of again, none of this is really that important to anything really, but like they're trying to find a wife for him, and Jethro or something misinterprets this lady that's supposed to have a ranch of horses or something, called them studs, and then brings her to the place because they think that, and then she's like, yeah, I like to have multiple partners, and he's like, what? And then she's like, yeah, Mr. The guy at the bank said that you'd like this. He's like, well, I don't know why he would think that. That was a little funny, but again, it's just like, yeah, I kind of get it, but it's not. It was just as a kid that didn't make any sense to me, but as an adult that makes more sense. Yeah.
There's a question: is it which I know you can't answer, Rook, because you've never seen a TV show? Is the TV show or the film better? Oh, I don't know. I think TV show might be. Yeah, I was gonna say TV show's got to be better than the film. But
the movie's just emulating the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So TV show's better, but I haven't seen it in years. But like I said, I remember liking it. So
it's like I said, we're in the same boat. But who knows what you'll think on a rewatch? Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Well. Moving on to you, I guess again, Tom, unless you want me, because you got like 2 more picks, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go you, me, you, and that'll be it.
All right.
So what do you got?
Oh, another Jean Reno movie I watched that I had never seen before. Believe it or not, I know I might get a little shit for this, but yeah, I'd never seen Ronin before.
I've never seen Ronin either. So
and I finally got to check it out, and it's pretty damn good movie.
It's like a popular movie.
Yeah, it's a John Frankenheimer movie. I'm not so sure I like the ending so much. I mean, the ending's kind of... It's not a bad ending. It's just one of those endings where you're just kind of like, really? Because, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that because it's spoiler. But the story is basically... Robert De Niro plays this... he's like a thief, supposed to be a thief or whatever, and him and these other guys are hired to rob this case. So it's kind of like one of those kind of setups, like a bunch of guys together they never met before, all together. And Jean Reno just happens to be one of the guys. And he just happens to be one of the only guys that De Niro seems to trust. And Sean Bean's in this, and spoilers, doesn't die.
Right? What? That's what I just read from Boba Fett. I was like, what? He doesn't die?
But that's because De Niro notices that he's full of shit, and they never really even go back to it again. So, like, you expect the character to come like back later and like double cross the team or something like that or whatever. But no, he's just gone. Like, once De Niro calls him out on his bullshit, he's like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm out. Peace.
It's got a great cast. You got like Stellan Skarsgård, Jonathan Pryce. You got the chick from the Truman Show.
Oh yeah.
Who played?
I can't even think of her name, but I know you're talking about.
Who played the one that loved him?
Yeah, Natasha McFollow, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so like, yeah, what basically though is you find out that there's a bunch of governments bidding for this case, and things start going wrong. So like, the plan keeps changing, and I don't want to get too deep into it because it really is getting into the plot of the film. But you just kind of, that's the basic setup, is that is that these bunch of these guys who don't really know each other, all working together, are supposed to be stealing this case, but it's not quite what everything seems to be, because whatever's in the case is wanted by many. So yeah.
Right. I haven't seen it. That's one that I have not seen, so I don't know. And I'm not to spoil anything there, but Brian Barr says he always hears the main criticism. That's the main criticism of the ending of the film. So
to get into it really kind of gets into the ending of the film and really spoils some shit.
Right.
Because I mean, there's a bit of a twist. I wouldn't call it like a total twist, right? You could see it coming in a way, but it kind of goes against the point of calling the film Ronin. It does, but it doesn't. It's kind of, again, like without getting into the plot of what it's all about, because you know what a Ronin is, right?
Yes. A warrior without a master or whatever.
Yeah. So they're considered dishonored. Like, I mean, it even starts the movie with the actual definition of what a Ronin is.
Right.
And then it comes up later on in the plot. And then it plays into the ending of the film. So I don't want to get too deep into it. I mean, I get what they think is it's playing into the point. I think it kind of goes against the point a little bit. It's kind of weird to explain without getting into the ending of the film. So maybe when these guys actually get a chance to see it, or at least Greg gets a chance to see it, maybe we'll discuss it some more. But
didn't this just come out like on a Kino or something as well?
Yeah, it's not that old. I've had it for like a month or two, but just one I hadn't quite gotten to watching until now. But yeah, it's only been out for a couple months at most.
Yeah. I have to get to it. I have to see
it. It looks good. I guess I didn't even talk about the scan. I mean, it looks really good.
I almost thought you were going to bring on Leon.
Negative. Yeah. No, so believe it or not, I hadn't cracked that open yet. I do have the 4K of that, but yeah, I've seen that enough times that now I got another week to watch it anyway. So, yeah, but yeah.
It'd be interesting. Maybe now I kind of want to see
a lot of great action scenes in it too. That's the other thing that stuck out to me, and that's what kind of sucked me in, because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it at first, because the first few scenes are kind of like, what's going on here, was kind of meandering a bit, but then once the action starts kicking in, then it's really good, because there's a lot of good action scenes in this. Anyway,
yeah, I gotta kind of see it now, because I'm kind of interested to see the ending, to see what the hubbub is about it, because it sounds like you're not the only one that has problems with the ending.
So, I mean, if you like caper films and stuff like that, you'll probably like it. I mean, it's not like funny or anything. It's a bit more, it's kind of like Heat.
Right.
Kind of like that. I mean, if you like Heat, then you'd probably dig it.
Yeah. Heat's good. I like it. Oh. Rook's showing off his pussy again.
She's trying to eat, she likes to try to eat my controller. Look at her.
Uh-oh. Gonna chew on it.
Uh-huh. I literally have one controller that is for her to just chew on.
She's done. She saw you turn the camera on. She's
no, she's just regrouping. Yeah.
It's because you do shit like that, so she thinks it's hers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because I'm letting her. I was like, okay, and then she's gonna go onto the belly, fat belly. There you
go.
She don't want to be petted right now. She just wants to chew on her controller.
Yeah. I had to get her controller. Now, see, her controller is this one that is all nice and chewed up. There, that's hers now. She's claimed that
one. Do you think De Niro's career declined after the 90s? I feel that the Ronin is the last film before he took a lot of shit roles.
I mean, he moved out of the main starring role, I guess you could say, at that point. But I mean, he was getting up there in age. But yeah, this was kind of the last hoorah of his. I mean, he was still pretty popular at this point. I mean, he did Heat and this and a couple other movies around the same time. I mean, I don't remember this doing bad or anything.
Yeah,
I'm sure it did okay.
I thought this came out around after, like you said, didn't this come out not too long after Heat or whatever?
I think a couple of years, but yeah, this is 98. I think Heat was like 96 or 95. Okay.
So still in that vein, yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
And
he also had the Backdraft also came out around this time, and I mean, he wasn't the main star in that, but he was.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, no, he was doing pretty good at this era still. This is probably just before the Meet the Fockers type movies and stuff like that. Because I think Meet the Parents is just like a year or two away, or a couple of years away. He just transitioned into a bit of a different role. That's all.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess you could say New Life, but he was going to be in those movies anyways.
He's still around. Yeah.
I mean, I think even Joker sort of gave him a little bit of that. I mean, he just, like Tom said, he sort of moved on from leading man to side character or whatever.
He's always been working. It's not like he had a down period or anything.
I'll be honest, I was never really a big, huge Robert De Niro fan, to be honest.
I like him as an actor, but he's a piece of shit as a human being.
Yeah, he's not a very good person. No.
I've heard nothing but horrible stories about him, and shit that he has said that just
Yeah, it's
like how can this be the same fucking guy?
Right. Like, he's playing guys like this in these movies, and you're like, how can you even be like that in real life? All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to me unless you got anything else to say. So, wish I would have seen it.
I mean, it's loaded up with special features, but I believe all these are ones from the original DVD release because this would have come out in the heyday of DVD. But it's just loaded with them. Everything from John Frankenheimer commentary to behind the scenes stuff. Just a whole load of them. Like you can see there. So it's not. Sorry if you can't read it, but there you go. So it's definitely not hurting for special features, that's for sure. So, yeah. Yeah, the scan looks pretty good. It's MGM, but yeah, no, it looked pretty good, and nothing really stuck out. There's like maybe one shot I think that stuck out to me that they clearly used some CGI on. That kind of looked dodgy, but it was like one shot only. And I can't remember exactly what about it stood out, but it was something to do with fire. So like, yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
I remember what it was now. It looked like they have him speeding out from a car scene, and there's like smoke, and the smoke looked fake as fuck. And I'm like, why did they even do that? Like it did look bad. It was the worst looking shot in the whole movie. Otherwise, the whole movie looks really good, and you can tell it was all done in camera, and like outside of a few transitions, it's all from the negative and such.
Well, that's cool. That's good news, though. That's good news about that. So, yeah, I got to get to
DNR, nothing that I could tell. So,
thank God. I'm so tired of DNR looking at
it
stuff.
Came out in '98, so a lot of these later films, there's no excuse.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we'll go on to me. This is my final pick, and then we'll go back to you for your final pick, Tom. So, probably won't talk long about this one. I don't think I've brought this one on before, but I have. There it is. Jack Attack.
No, you haven't this one, I don't think.
Yeah.
So how was it? Was it worth it?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's I would say it's on par with Dr. Death. If you like the Dr. Death movie, it's similar to that, but this is I'd say this is a little more better than the Dr. Death movie. William Butler, who wrote and directed it. It's his final movie for Full Moon Features. It was his last movie he did for him. It's not bad. If you like the Jack Attack, the demonic toys from the movies, it feels very 90s. It's about this young girl. It's like the movie starts off with her and this what you assume is her guardian or parent or whatever, and she gets killed. The woman gets killed, and the girl's sent to this to like a nun, foster care, whatever place. And then a family comes in and takes her back to this farmhouse, and there just happens to be a Jack-in-the-Box in the amongst her stuff, and all that shit ensues with the family and stuff, and and the girl can't speak, and it's got a very 90s vibe to it. It gets a little goofy near the end when you figure out why the Jack-in-the-Box is there and what the girl can do. It gets a little meh, but overall, I enjoyed the movie. I think it's a better made out movie than Dr. Death, but I think Dr. Death has a better ending than this one. But yeah, it feels very much like because I think Demonic Toys wasn't Demonic Toys just like a sci-fi movie or something like that. I mean,
no, the original one the original one was a full moon movie, and right. Demonic Toys versus Dollman were full moon, but
right, yeah.
Demonic Toys versus Puppet Master, for some reason Charlie sold the rights to Sci-Fi, and it just
that's what it was. Yeah. This feels a little bit like sci-fi.
You got fucking Corey Feldman playing some old guy who's a descendant of Toulon, and it makes absolutely no fucking sense. And his daughter, who's like the same age as him, it's really weird.
I remember that. I haven't seen that in years. No, but this one's all right.
It's
This
kind of
one,
got an upgrade, but I mean, yeah, I'm curious how it tied into the original story because I thought Dr. Death did all right. But,
Doctor Death. I like Doctor Death. I think it was a good movie. And this, I was when I say this is a better movie, I mean it's a better. Seems like it was better made, considering it was William. If you know who William Butler is, William Butler is the only actor to have been killed by Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface. He's the only actor to have been killed by all three of those guys. And he went on to become a director, and he's worked for many years with Full Moon Features, and this was his last Full Moon feature film, and he's moved on to other stuff now. But no, it's I would say this is a little more well put together film. I guess maybe because of that, but I think maybe I had a little more fun with Doctor Death than I had with this movie. But the way this ties in is like sort of like the one off, like what we thought was going to happen with at the end of how at the end of Doctor Death, it's like let's reunite you with all your friends. You want to relate to puppets from the Puppet Master. This is sort of like let's reunite the demonic toys. That's what it feels like they're trying to do. So it's a fun movie. There is no boobs in this one. There's no boobs in this one. Surprisingly, for Full Moon Features, there's no boobs. But it does feel very 90s ish. And I think the Jack Attack puppet looks great. The ending's a little, I would say, depends on how you feel about it. Let's just say the girl's got some power. But there you go. It's not a bad movie. I enjoy it. It's not bad. Good night, Brian Barth. Glad to have you hanging with us. What's up, Tim Hayes? Glad to see you here. But yeah, that's just into the movie. This girl who's, it's like these clown things are following her. Her guardian in the beginning of the movie died. They think she did it, but she didn't do it. And then she's taken to this foster home on this farm out in the boonies. And there just so happens the Jack Attack and these like weird clowns follow her out there and there's a reason why they follow her out there. And we even, I don't want to spoil it, but we get a tease at the end of the teddy bear. Do you remember the bear? I can't remember the name of the bear, but we get a little bit of tease of that. So maybe the demonic toys were coming down the lane as well. Oh, plus besides, they did do a spinoff before William Butler did of the Baby Oopsie, who was a demonic toys.
Oh, that's right. I never did get that one. No.
Yeah, he did do like 3 of those Baby Oopsie movies, which were a little more comedic. They're like more comedic and stuff like that. This is a little more serious, a little more horror oriented, which I like. That's why this one really does feel like a straight to video 90s type movie, which is what I really dug about it. Because it's a little more serious. And so I dug that. But no, I would say Dr. Death is, I like the movie better than I like this, but I think this is a little better made movie than Dr. Death, but I think I would still choose Dr. Death over Jack Attack. If you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Right.
Oh, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I thought I had it on pre-order, but maybe I didn't.
I'd say it's worth it. It's just once again like Ronin, the ending's a little like I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, the ending of Ronin was decent. It just and there's actually an alternate ending, and the only difference is some stuff they cut out of it.
Right.
But even that wouldn't have fixed it or made it any worse either. It's just kind of But anyway.
Yeah. Yes. And you're right, Stephen. William Butler is in Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead. He plays the young guy with the blonde girlfriend who's down in the basement in the house. Yeah. So William Butler is what's his name knows him too. R&B Robert Burnett. He worked with him.
I believe so. I think I believe he's mentioned him quite a few times.
Yeah, he worked with him on Leatherface because that's the movie he's in, the third part 3. So yeah. But there you guys have it. That's my final pick, and there you go. But yeah, if you like the demonic toys, this feels very much like 90s demonic toys, a little bit of a seriouser movie. But if you like Puppet Master, I would go Dr. Death. But there you have it. Tom, to you, your final pick of the night.
All right. Well, no surprise, as I teased earlier. Kino Lorber released this last week, and I finally got my hands on it today, so I watched it this afternoon, and I have the old Blu-ray here as well. Actually, I think I might even have this on DVD still in an Arnold pack, but yeah.
They have the kindergartner as a cop?
Yes, I mean, this and the movie does hold up. I actually belly laughed quite a bit during watching this again, and I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but huge! I mean, no question, huge upgrade between the old ass. I mean, because this is an old ass Blu-ray, and this thing looks amazing in comparison from the original negative. My only complaint, because they actually even give it a new 5.1 surround mix. It sounds nice, actually. It kind of opens it up, gives a little bit more thump. Doesn't feel as the original two channel mix feels a little tinny in comparison. But there's no special features really. They just added two comments from film historians I've never heard of, as usual, and the trailer. Yeah. Otherwise, there's nothing for special features. You would think they could have something.
Yeah, I would like something. I'm surprised.
This was a big movie when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you probably wouldn't get Arnold to do any sit-down interviews, but
no, but there had to be like some EPK stuff or something like that from back in the day. You would think even that kind of stuff would be nice because the old Blu-ray is bare bones too. So like, but it's it looks really good, sounds really good. Fucking made me laugh my ass off as usual.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
I see you've been teaching them the basics.
I have that movie, but I've not seen it yet.
You've never seen it? Oh my god!
I know the memes, but I have not seen the movie yet.
It's a
how'd it go? Movie. Go away. That good, huh?
Yeah, I do have it, so I can watch it at some point. We've had that for a while. It's never got around to it.
You ate all the lunches. What's that when he picks a kid up and he just throws all that food because he ate all
the lunches? People's lunches. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I remember that. That's so great. I love that movie. Always used to rent Kindergarten Cop and Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. I used to rent those all the time.
The bad guy in this, I can't even think of his name. But
he's the guy from 3 O'Clock High. He plays the bully in 3 O'Clock High.
Yeah, he's not in much else, and it's surprising because he's a really good actor. Has he been in much else that I can recall? I mean, those are the only two movies that I can think of too, really.
I know
Richard Tyson,
I know he's in Kindergarten Cop, and I know
he's such a greasy little fucker.
Right. I know I've seen him in a cheap ass werewolf movie that was like way past his career, straight to like VHS type movie.
He's one of the cops in Something About Mary, so yeah, he basically just went nowhere.
Oh yeah, so he went nowhere.
No, this is a classic film. I mean, obviously, for Rook, who doesn't know the setup for this, there's this drug dealer who's been tracked down by Arnold Schwarzenegger only to get away with murder again and again and again. But they come to find out that his wife is hiding out in Oregon with the drug dealer's kid. So they go to try and find her before he does. And basically on the way there, the cop that's supposed to go undercover in the kindergarten gets sick. And Arnold Schwarzenegger has to sit in for it. And of course, comedy ensues. Now you can tell this was definitely written for like Clint Eastwood or probably even like I would imagine they wrote it for like Burt Reynolds, Clint Eastwood type initially. I mean, but then you see Schwarzenegger and it's like, well, duh. But it would really work really well with like Clint Eastwood would be like pitch perfect, I think, because he'd also scare the shit out of the kids.
Right.
But no, like Arnold's perfect in this because you almost have to have somebody who's going to be likable too at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, and he just works in it. This is probably one of his better roles, as I said before. I guarantee you he has more lines in this movie than he does in any of his other films.
Yeah.
Just because he has to talk through most of the movie, right? Right. Even though he has a couple of one-liners, but yeah.
No, I love the opening of the movie too, because the opening of the movie is so starkly different than the rest of the movie. Because it's like the opening movie is like an Arnold movie, or like you said, like a Dirty Harry movie. He goes in and he's blowing away people with a shotgun.
That's what I love about the original trailer. which I hadn't seen in forever because it's actually on this Blu-ray. So that's at least one good thing because
Yeah.
the trailer sets it up like that, right? Like it's going to be
Right.
another Arnie action movie. He's like, he's a hard cop, you know?
Yeah, he's like blow people away with the shotgun, and next thing he's a kindergarten teacher, and it's
and
a
now
kid
he's
comedy.
about to face his greatest challenge ever.
Rob Schneider has to babysit children.
It's kind of
like
something like that in a way, but it's like it perfectly works because like, you hadn't had a movie like this before, and it was the kids are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
They got a great kid cast here to kind of fill out the roles, and it just works perfectly. It's one of those movies you can watch with your mom, you know, and she loves it, and it's a good feel good movie from the 90s. Actually, it's like it feels like the 80s because it's 1990. It came out Christmas in 1990, believe it or not. But
yeah,
Ivan Reitman directed it, so yeah.
And it's a classic film, and I was surprised that was getting a 4K. I really was surprised that was getting the 4K. So I'm happy that it did. I did see a screenshot that you could see the beard is fake.
Yes, I did notice that really bad. You can notice his beard is fake. 4K.
Yeah, I mean that's good quality 4K, but
it is good. It looks good. It looks really good, actually. And I'm assuming that's what they probably did. Universal probably amortized this through Kino Lorber doing the scan, probably. Because usually they say on the back if like Universal does the scan. Well, I don't know about Kino, but I know Arrow has always been pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, telling who actually does the scan. And I think Kino has in the past said when like Paramount and stuff has done the scan. So maybe they did it on their own. That's the only thing is this one's it's nicely priced. I guess it's not too bad. You can usually get it between $20 and $25. But for not having any special features, it's like, well, Universal's probably going to release it on their own in a few months or something. But no, like overall, the upgrade to the film is worth it, especially considering it's never been a film that's, been re-released a million times or anything like that. It's always been a big film. It was a pretty popular film, and I remember pretty sure it was even a sell-through when it came out on VHS because I remember my aunt buying it. That's the first time I saw it. Was like, I swear it would have been Easter of 91. It came out. So if it would have come out on Christmas, and then they quickly got, I think that maybe if it wasn't Easter, it had been early in the summer. Because usually we had an Easter thing, and I swear that's where I remember we're seeing it the first time was Easter of 91.
Probably.
I'd have to look.
I mean, they usually put out like Easter
that would have been pretty quick for it though, but it was pretty popular. I do remember that.
Well, let's find out. Let's look it up real quick.
Because this was in the height of Schwarzenegger's career. This is where he was going from like Total Recall to stuff like to this, and then Terminator 2 was right around the corner.
Are we looking for the VHS release or the theater release?
VHS. I know it came out in Christmas of 1990.
Let's see. June 6, 1991. It came out on VHS.
Okay, so it would have been summer then. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah, I guess so. Must have been one of my cousin's birthdays parties then. Was
interesting. And it was re-released again in 1998 on VHS.
For the last time on VHS.
Yes, for the last time. But I was wanting to pick this one up because I love this. I remember loving this movie as well. I can still quote, like you said, it's probably the most quotable Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I think we still most people who have seen it still quote it to this day and can remember the quotes.
I got a headache.
I got a headache. It's not a tumor.
Maybe it's a tumor. It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. I love it. Like I said, I used to rent that and Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. I used to, when I would rent those movies, that'd be my double feature when I would rent those at the video store as a kid. I don't know. They just seem fun. It's great time. Great time. Good movies. Oh man, that really makes you think about, like, they don't make movies like that for real. No. I know we say that a lot, but you really think about movies like this. They really don't make movies like that anymore. Not at all.
No, I don't want them to make this, even though they made a sequel to it a few years back with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, I heard it's bad. I heard that sequel.
I've heard it's pretty bad too.
Yeah. I can't even believe they made a sequel with Dolph Lundgren and Lou Diamond Phillips. I mean, no.
Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. But yeah, that's a great movie. There's so much I need to get to that I haven't got to yet. That's why I didn't have like the best titles tonight. It's just been a long week. But But anything else you guys want to say or share before we close out? We got out of here before 3 hours, if you can believe it. So
no, I surprised. I almost watched another movie, but no.
I thought maybe you were going to. I thought it was like
no, I took a nap instead.
Well, I can't blame you. If I could take a nap during the day, I probably would. But it
was like I had an hour. I'm like nap. Yeah.
I'm the type of person. If I wake up, I'm up, and I'm up. That's it. I can't. Really
I used to be that way. But the last few years, man, I tell you.
Yeah, but like when you got 2 kids and everything, and it's just like
I mean, your life's a little more structured.
No time.
Mine. Like that's my problem. Is my life used to be more structured. Like now, I'm not so much. That I mean, I'm all over the fucking place.
Now you're free. Free.
It's not so much free as I'm at the whim of Andre and when shit gets thrown at me. Or if I have appointments and have to work around that and shit. It's
Right.
like, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
I feel you. I'm trying to build my channel up like that too. So but thank you, Rook. Thank you, Tom. Thank you to everybody out in the chat and everybody at home watching. I appreciate you guys hanging with us tonight as always. And you don't have
just
to
over
week,
2 hours. Just over 2 hours, and we did
over
like
2
10
hours.
movies.
You believe it?
Next week, hopefully, I'll have some Conan to talk about, and maybe some more Harryhausen.
Hopefully, I'll have some good ones next week as well. But thank you guys once again. Always support physical media. It is the superior format, but you don't have to go home and you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.